What do you want to talk about first? What struck you most in these two games?
When you get all the way to the championship game, and you have a game won. I mean, you have to screw it up, and then you do. That's going to hurt. I mean, that's going to deep cut, and you just can't imagine what that feels like when the Packers intercepted the football with 5:12 to go, something like that, and inexplicably the defensive backs stopped. But still, the game's over. Most NFL teams you just know it. The way it's gone, how you're playing. They were congratulating themselves. Finish it. Go home. Go to the Super Bowl. And I can't remember a more painful with what's on the line. A more painful game.
So were they too conservative after that interception? Should they have been more aggressive? Should they picked on Sherman and his injury?
They should have been more aggressive all day long because the Seahawks had nothing going on. That game should have been at least 20-0, if not more. You get opportunities when people in championship football, in my mind, you kick a field goal, you're getting closer to losing. And I've always felt that way. I've always said that. That's generally true in all football games, but especially in championship type of football. If you kick a field goal, just know that you're that much closer to losing. And so early in the game, when with the Seahawks just laying an egg and playing so poorly and handing them the ball on the road a number of times, you got to make hay. And they made some hay, but I thought going in at halftime 16-0 was a miracle for the Seahawks.
Do you believe that Rodgers was 70%, 80%? Now, he's on the field, so he's healthy enough to play, but how close was that to peak efficacy for him?
You saw with the game on the line, first of all, what a great player he is, but you saw him have to run for the 12 yards in that last drive, and you saw the second he's tried to actually run, he pulled it again.
Right.
So he knew I cannot run. I can bounce around. I can slide and do some stuff, but I cannot run. This thing will not. I cannot run. And so, I thought but you could see he had as much mobility as Peyton does, or in Tom in some ways. I'm not going to neglect either one of them for their ability to run around. They could do more than what Aaron was able to do. But still, the idea that from the pocket I can slide around and make some throws, and it was pretty remarkable how well he played in 2 games with that injury.
Now, at the moment, 4th and 1 of the goal line in that first possession, were you saying they should go for it, or did you agree with the field goal?
You're on the road you're in the toughest place in America to play, and you've got it handed to you. You've got to put it in, and I guess look, I understand these are all easy to talk about later. We know that, but everything's contextual, and in that context, I would have gone ballistic if my coach would have wanted to go for 3, just because I know with 7, with this team, on the other side, this offense on this side, 7's going to be pretty efficacious. It's going to make a difference. This team's not, they end up scoring 28 in overtime, but this team in the Seahawks offense is not going to score a bunch of touchdowns. So let's go.
All right, before we get to the Patriot game, I've never, ever, Steve, been a huge fan of Mike McCarthy because he's got one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever lived. He doesn't have his team prepared on a field goal, a fake field goal. That should never, ever happen. Give up the field goal. Make sure nobody gets behind you. Did Mike McCarthy have anything to do with that loss yesterday?
Everybody does. I mean, when you have they're in the Super Bowl, Michael. It was done. Wrap it up. Finish it. It's done. If I was, I played long enough in enough games to watch it. When it's over. It's over. I'll just go clean it up and go home and go to the Super Bowl. And so the fact that it didn't happen doesn't rest on one guy. It really doesn't. It rests on the top guys for sure, but it rests on everybody. That was just that one. That's why I say it stings so much, because the Seahawks had done zero, and to allow them to do anything was, I don't know. I had to sit there and just shake my head. I've never seen like it.
Is the allegations of deflating the footballs something that should be concerning to New England? Is that a big deal?
Yeah. Just stay in the rules. Don't fiddle with everything. Don't try to. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is and they fiddle with it, come on.
He doesn't need to.
You guys are kidding me? Don't do that. Just don't do it. Why put yourself in that jam? Because it doesn't matter whether they're a little flat or not. you like to. They've made the footballs now where you get to work them in, you get to make them how you like them. I so much wish that was the case 15 years ago, because it would have made my life so much less miserable than worrying about the balls, whether you can grab them with a brand new or not. Or, I mean, they can make them however they want them. So, to the fact that they deflated them a little bit, I don't really care. It doesn't. They're throwing the ball that they like anyway. I don't really care. But if there is a rule, just don't break it, because then what it does is it allows people to peck away at something that is incredible. What you've done. It allows people to say, "Oh, but they deflated the balls." I mean, they deserve way more than that. It's incredible to me what they do. I said this last week. What they do with so little. The guys that are catching passes and doing things for the New England Patriots are just guys that they just showed up in the summertime, and they're going. And we all look at the Patriots and go, "Of course they're going to the Super Bowl. Look at this team." They're doing something differentiated, and it doesn't matter whether they deflated the balls or not.
How difficult is it for a 38-year-old Tom Brady to be that good? And also, you know what struck me, and I wondered what you were thinking. This is a 38-year-old who looked like he was 11. He was so thrilled to be going to the Super Bowl. He has not lost any of his love for succeeding.
So fresh. You know what I mean? Everything about it seemed like it's timeless. Tom seemed timeless yesterday. Just didn't like it didn't, there were times when you thought, well, you could see things aging or something, even how he looks. And now last night, it's like, he looks the same, plays the same. He would play the same forever. I don't know why I said this. Don't hate me for it. I was like, it's Derek Jeter. You know what I mean? It's like he's that important and that big. He's incredible what he's been able to do. And I don't even know if I mean that, but it just popped in my mind yesterday. The guy is iconic, and he's still leading it. I mean, if he wins the Super Bowl, but for a loss to the Giants in 2008, I mean, there's no argument in the history of the game.